Hey guys, it's quote unquote your boy, Ballface8020, back with another great commentary. For today's video, we're back in the office with Uncle Z and his protege. That is correct. Uncle Z officially has a protege. Now, you could say that all of his students are his proteges. I'm sure in some sense he believes that. But here we have a much more direct example. This kid is not paying Casey anything. On the contrary, he works for Casey. Um, so we all know the deal here. I'm into Casey Xander content, but nobody else is. So most people, understandably and probably correctly, think that my obsession with Casey is is pathological, and but the thing is, it's like that. I mean, again, they're probably right. That's probably true. But the thing, it's not only, like I've said in the previous thing, it's not necessarily always about making fun of Casey. It's about what it shows about the red pill and stuff. I know he denies being a red pillar, but and this one probably is a little bit more on the side of being about Casey, but I still think you'll see some red pill stuff because some of the I'm trying to think of the right word. I'm just going to use the term fallacies, although I'm not sure that's the correct term here, that are given in this video are ones that are common in red pill circles. But like I think a lot of stuff with the red pill and a lot of stuff with Casey, it's not all garbage. So I'm not gonna like get on here and just bash everything because there's like some good stuff in here, and not only is there some good stuff, there's stuff that I very recently, like until very recently, until I like got into the black pill, would have missed myself. And keep in mind, I was already familiar with the red pill before the black pill. Um, so and some good advice. So and I've talked about this before. I said the fact that Casey gives some good advice, the fact that there are some true things in the red pill, that actually makes those things worse. If they were all snake oil, it would be better. Because if it was all snake oil, it wouldn't get so many people in. But the fact that there's some substance there, some good information, is what makes it so dangerous. You wrap that in a whole bunch of misinformation, not in nonsense. You've got something that is untrue and destructive, but at the same time, there's enough truth to draw a lot of people in. So that's enough intro. Let's get into the video.
To talk, I slap my ass over, you get into there. That's how we do it. This ain't too hard. The viewers love us no matter what. Uncle C, back in the office, and in today's video, I'm joined by my guest, whose name is Caden. We have a little story.
North Dakota obviously has a bit of a problem with names. So, wait, what was the... It's Casey? That's bad, but I've heard it. Then what's his sister's name again? Is it like something like Michaela? Or Kate? Kendra? I can't remember. It was something really weird. And then what did he just say? He said this kid's name was Caden. Now that is a name that I've known guys named Casey. I've never known a guy named Caden. This is just North Dakota being North Dakota, I guess. People up here are fucking weird. And, they're sheltered. And, like, look, I like more rural areas. I live in what's called a metro suburb. So, even though it's well off, it's very culturally plugged in to the rest of the country, whereas people like Casey who are from the plains, like it's easy to just get on here and just like just mock Casey and whatever, and he's got some issues. But the thing is, like, a lot of stuff that maybe seems like issues for Casey are really just because he lives in the Midwest and they're just kind of a step behind everybody, like in the country. Like, obviously they're not any less intelligent than people in the rest of the country, but since things literally move slower in these rural areas, the people can kind of seem weird, like they don't process things properly, and you end up with parents giving their kids names like Caden. Now you could say Ballface8020. Your parents literally named you Ballface8020. So like, aren't you kind of being hypocritical to talk about weird names? Like, again, you may not like the name Ballface8020, but there's nothing like douchey about it. You know, it just like, you know, it's just like, it's a name. It might not do it for you, but there's it, you know, just kind of another name, you know, whereas Caden, Casey, and whatever the girl's name was, those, I mean, those names, I mean, they kind of suck. You know, they kind of, I don't know. I feel like I'm being mean here, but I don't, they're bad. I don't know what else to say. Let's get back to it.
Story time for you today. Now, Caden actually he works for me. He is 19, right?
Oh, I wanted to say something. Did you guys notice that Casey's videos, he's got facial hair now? This seems to be something that's happened ever since he broke up with Brittany. Now, it wouldn't be a big deal, except that in an earlier video, like a year or 2 years ago, I don't know, he mentions that he doesn't have facial hair. He said because it feels uncomfortable, and I can relate to this because that's why. I mean, you see me; I'm usually clean shaven, and when I don't shave, it's just because I was too lazy to do it. But me, I would like to grow a beard. I mean, I'm not even sure I physically can, but I would like to grow out my facial hair longer. But I just hate the way it feels. So I know what Casey said, and how Casey feels like. But meanwhile, he's got this beard now, or this like permanent stubble now, which I think really doesn't look good. I would say either grow it out or shave it. Don't do this in between shit. But I digress. But he's doing it to like, I don't know, I guess like to be more masculine or stuff. It's just part of this full masculinity cringe.
Yep. He set up this whole office, and we're going to be talking about a little story time. And the story time that we're talking about today is how women will oftentimes use men for free attention or
I just have to point this out since it's bothering me. No problem with the kid at all. I kind of like him. I'm talking about the 19-year-old kid, Caden. You can't be chewing gum on camera like that. Okay, that's just. I mean, again, he's 19. He's not familiar with this stuff. You can't do that. He probably didn't even realize he was doing it. But Casey should have said something like, you got to take the gum out while you're on camera because it's distracting.
Attempt to, and when you call them out on it, they will claim that all men are the same. When in actuality, you have to understand the way to which men to women navigate friendship is very differently, and not only that, oftentimes it will not work. Now, backstory to this may be controversial. This may be bit of a, not necessarily clickbait, but this is going to be a topic to where we're going to get a little controversial here. And here's what I mean. So at Caden's old job, he worked with a woman, okay, and the woman was your same age, correct? Yep. And at the time, Caden didn't necessarily know me, and what I mean by that is he ain't known about the MVT system, link in bio if y'all want to check out that webinar. But what I'm saying is you had no concept of masculine frame, right?
I had no idea I didn't even know that existed, such a thing.
Because it doesn't. Because it doesn't. You were better off, kiddo.
Thing even was real.
And essentially, if a girl wanted to hang out with you or something like that, even if it was just as friends, you automatically assume that you could work an angle and potentially it would lead to something, right?
Well, I figured even if I went in there just thinking like as a friend or whatever, I did like this girl, naturally something would just come out of that, right? I didn't have to try to win.
Wait.
Yeah, and you know, before I learned like about this stuff, again, I learned about it more from the black pill than the red pill. Because the black pill and the red pill kind of agree on this. I was familiar with the red pill. I read red pill stuff, but I would never try to apply it, and it was never like into it to the extent that I'm into the black pill. Like, whereas I really got into learning about it. I was the same way as a young guy. I often assumed as a kid that a girl expressing interest in me on a friendly level meant that she had romantic interest, and meant that I could finagle it into that. So I know where they're coming from here. I guess where I would kind of divert from sort of red pill and black pill orthodoxy is that the idea that it always doesn't work. It is hard to get out of the friend zone, but I don't think we should assume that's what all women are doing. Like, sometimes they really could be testing the waters and stuff. I mean, there are times where women is just, you know, straight up friend zoning and kind of emotionally beta buxing you. But I just see too many relationships that started out kind of friendly and then kind of evolved into anything else. I think it really depends on the given. I don't think it needs to be like some romantic thing from the very beginning. There are relationships that start out, from that kind of evolve gradually. So yeah, each relationship is its own thing. So I guess what I'm really opposed to is this idea that it's a hard and fast rule, even though there's a lot of situations where you do have to be wary of it.
Till you hear the nerve on this chick, I'm about to tell you. The nerve on this girl rattles me. Just the inconsiderate attitude, the egotistical attitude of what she thinks she's entitled to. My lord, we're going to come at you hard with this video today. Now, tell them about your ideal relationship situation, or quote unquote your blue pill narrative that you believe. Like tell these guys so they have some backstory. Like, what type of man were you actually?
So before I met Casey, I was a young guy. Well, I'm still young, but I was 18. I just graduated high school. I had no idea what I wanted to do. All I knew is that work sucked. I wasn't really happy, but I just wanted to get a girlfriend because I figured a girlfriend would make me happy. And eventually, they would just blossom into this like lovely relationship, and we'd have like a white picket fence, and it would all work out, and there wouldn't be any games, and it would just be like this happily ever after situation.
He believed in the whole happy wife, happy life narrative.
And I'm gonna say, and maybe this is anti-black pill. I'm not convinced that that's totally nonsense. I think you do need to be aware of the issues out there in the dating market, and that there is information and understanding that you're going to want to arm yourself with to be successful, and not even just in the dating, but even in a relationship. There are times where red pill stuff can be helpful if you come from a very blue pilled background. Remember, a lot of this red pilled stuff, so-called red pill stuff, would have just been considered common sense, 100 years ago. So we're not talking about some kind of like secret, emotional manipulation tactic. We're talking about something that men have known for thousands of years, and maybe in the post-World War II era, we've lost to an extent. But I don't want to. But you can easily go too far the other way. That's my point.
Okay, and because of that, notice his focus was not necessarily on purpose, right? He didn't even.
Oh my God!
I didn't even know what my purpose was.
Right, he wasn't necessarily focused on a task at hand to grow and to develop as a man. He wanted women, and just like most of you, you want a loyal, loving, stable companion and girlfriend, and that.
You mean kind of like you had with Brittany?
At the end of the day, I think that's what a lot of men want. However, they get hit hard with the truth of what women are not only actually attracted to, but what type of men are rewarded in the S3 actual marketplace. Now, you fast forward to yesterday.
Well, again, we're at a bit of a difference. I think with the tactics and stuff that's going to make you successful as a player are not going to necessarily translate to you having success as a relationship, partially because you're going to be attracting different types of women, partially because games, techniques, and stuff get old. They can't be sustained through the course of somebody who you're living with, who you're building a life with. So, I mean, let's not conflate the two.
Give these guys a rundown of what happened on Snapchat. Get at them.
So I met this girl in my.
All right. So before we go any further, let's talk a little bit about Caden. Just from an SMZ standpoint. His face there's nothing wrong with it. It might be considered above average if you in the plains, it's not going to be anything special because you're going to have a lot of, Scandinavian types. But you also have to keep in mind that this idea that Scandinavians are all like these super good looking people is not totally true. That's really more of a Poland, Baltic thing, and maybe the western regions of the Ukraine where everybody's really good looking. In Scandinavia, everybody's tall and blonde. They're not necessarily all super handsome, but we have to acknowledge that tall and blonde, they're with the ivory skin, there is a halo factor there. I think it's extremely exaggerated. I especially by black pillars who go crazy with it because obviously. Again, I know I'm digressing here, but a lot of black pillars are from a non-white background, and it's so much easier to say that women are rejecting me because I'm Indian or because I'm Asian. Because that, let's be honest, guys, that doesn't hurt as much as saying women are rejecting me because I'm too short. Okay, I mean, just being honest. Of course, by the time you get to my age, you don't care. But but most of you guys are, a ways away from that. But anyway, let's talk about his looks. But he does have something going in the looks department. Hair quality looks good. Haircut is horrible, but the hair quality is there. Um, again, it's not. There's nothing wrong with his face, but you can tell, and this is just something that I always really noticed. The facial development is bad because of his face. His face didn't develop properly. My guess is that all 4 of his wisdom teeth were impacted. Like that's what happened to me because my face didn't develop properly. So I mean, if Casey was serious about improving this kid's SMV, the thing he would be saying, well, you got to get, SARP and double jaw surgery, not plastic surgery. I'm talking about just to fix, the palate and the mandible. Just got the jaw needs to be reset, the face needs to be pulled forward, and it needs to be widened. And that's just how this kid's face would have developed if he had been given proper nutrition as a kid, which he wasn't, and because most people in America aren't. But anyway, so that's a problem. It's not a deal breaker, especially a lot of people in the United States and in the Western world have underdeveloped faces these days. But frame is below average, probably a tiny bit better than mine. So maybe it's a little bit even on the worst side for North Dakota. I don't know. I wouldn't really say they're big friends. He is a type of person who I think could benefit from weightlifting, and I can tell from looking at him that he lifts weights because his upper body looks very similar to what my upper body looks like when I'm lifting, where you just have the lifting look, but since his frame is so small, he doesn't look big. So I would say that we would try to add another 20 pounds, overall 10 to 20 pounds. I think 20 pounds is probably all his frame could take, 20 more pounds of lean body mass, but he's only 19, so he should fill out a little bit more as he goes along. The height looks good. I can't really tell. My guess from this is that he's probably around 6 feet, maybe just a tiny bit shorter. So, he's got stuff going for him in the looks department. It certainly looks that aren't his problem. And I'm not saying that this guy's an incel or anything. I don't think he is. But, we'll hear about it in the story. He does get nearly beta boxed. So anyway, I just want to say that to give context to the rest of the story.
My old job before I started working here, and she seemed nice. She seemed like there was some interest there. She came.
Does Casey have a picture of James Dean on his wall? This guy.
Out to me and asked if we wanted to hang out. She kind of reached out to me and asked.
What makes Discovery Plus the greatest collection of
real life entertainment on the planet?
Do the math. Woo! 55.
Hey, you think I could start coming to the gym with you or whatever, right? And I was like, well, sure. That seems like a sign of interest to me, right? So we
Yeah, I absolutely would have taken that as a sign of interest. Absolutely, 100%. And I don't just mean when I was 19. I mean when I was 33. So I guess I myself have been pretty naive in the past, even knowing about the red pill. So again, can't say the red pill's all nonsense.
We hang out a little bit. We've hung out a couple times now. And yesterday we were planning on hanging out that night after I left here and got off work. So I messaged her and I'm like, hey, thinking about maybe meeting up with you tonight, right? And then I was like, well, wait a minute, because I thought about what Casey told me, and I was like, I don't want to go into this as a
friend.
Yeah, I don't want to be a man to friend.
He comes to me, he goes, how do I make this a man-to-woman interaction on text message ASAP so I can establish some sort of frame or rapport going into it so she knows what's up? Okay? Keep in mind, she did not like it when we took it down this avenue. So our text message, she asked you to hang out first, correct?
She reached out to me.
Okay, so, any type of PUA, and I might get some pushback on this, not necessarily in the comments, but pushback in people's minds. People would say, Casey doesn't really do PUA, or just going after women isn't PUA. I would say what Casey does is very close to is in that red pill PUA thing. I would say any type of trying to get women, any type of things where you're trying to seduce women or get women besides just, laying back and being Chad, I would say that there's some PUA stuff there. If you're in the point where you're analyzing text messages and shit like that. And I've been on the other end of this. I was always like, dude, just act natural. Just act natural and let the chips fall where they may. But as I've gotten more into sales, I just don't see it that way, because you're not going to sell anything by just acting natural. You're going to have a bunch of people who will talk to you on the phone and never buy from you. So there is something to this, and I encourage people to keep an open mind. It's a matter of perspective, and I think this is an issue where the kid was right to say, like, we may have a problem here, and I'm not sure I can in good conscience ever recommend going to Casey for advice, unless you're looking for advice on how to be a douchebag snake oil salesman. But and drive off a girlfriend of 2 years who loves you. But so maybe Casey wasn't the perfect guy to go to advice to, but I also can't totally say he made the wrong decision here.
She reached out to him, and I worked the phone a little bit as Kate, and I go, on one condition. That collaboratively, that's what we said. On one condition.
We
she goes,
decided on that. Yeah.
We decided on that. We go, oh, what's that? She goes, and we.
In sales, this is called an upfront contract. You would say something like, it would be like you're talking to them on the phone or some shit, and this could even be in the follow-up meeting, and you say, like, okay, so this is how it's going to go. I'm going to explain a little bit about us, what we do, how we can help you solve your particular problem. And then after that, the floor will be open for you to ask any questions. And then what I would just ask in return is that at the end of this, you give me either yes, we're going to move forward, or a no, we're done. Just like something like one way or the other, you let me know right then how you feel about, like, whether we should move forward or not. Upfront contract. So that's just one example. So Casey, obviously coming from the Sam Ovens school, he's going to certainly be familiar with this concept. I'm guessing that's where he got it from. I'm guessing he does this kind of stuff in his things, but this goes back to show, like, how much of, like, Redpill PUA stuff is related to sales. So you guys may be sitting there thinking, like, whoa, this text of on one condition, you'll get to see what it says, that's like really cringe and douchey. But from a sales perspective, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I would have been like that too in the past. I would have been like, that's douchey. I guess part of one thing I would be resistant to here is doing it via text versus on the call. I would want to do it on an actual call. But I understand that text is how Zoomers communicate, so, and millennials too. But so that's just that. But I think this is good stuff so far.
We go, well, the condition is you got to wear something cute for me. Instantly her brain flips. Instantly her mind flips. She goes, the only type of man I would ever dress up and look cute for just dumped me, and there's no way I have to do that. Me and you are just friends, and I don't have to dress up for you, let alone impress you. This chick had the nerve to type a wall of text this long, wanting to take my homeboy Caden's time, wanting to take my homeboy Caden's attention, his validation, wanted to strip all of this from him for literally zero return in a man-to-woman interaction. This woman...
This is true. Again, I know I'm kind of boring you guys with the sales stuff, but one thing in sales you'll notice is that people will refuse to talk to you when they are interested. Sometimes, I'm not saying always, but there's people who are interested who will tell you they're not and refuse to talk. And then there's people who aren't interested who are happy to waste your time. This is something that sales trainer Benjamin Dennehy has pointed out. He said, absolutely nobody in the world, no matter like what they're like, even if they're like the most holy person in the world, nobody sees it as wrong to waste a salesperson's time. Because it's just like, because at the end of the day, you're just a salesperson. You're like down there with child molesters. And, I think that to borrow from Casey, in the man to woman space, there are a lot of women who are thinking like that. Like, yeah, look, she knows that, she knows that Caden or whoever the guy is in question wants something romantic, and she doesn't. But she doesn't see that as anything wrong, as to like lead him on, and especially since she's saying, "Look, I never said anything. I never said anything. We were going to do anything like that." And so what Casey is saying, this is good salesmanship. We're breaking out of that, and we're going in to decide, like, is this even worth our time to pursue, or should we be directing the energy to somewhere more productive while saving our dignity?
Free attention.
Free attention. This woman had the nerve to say, "All men are the same."
She did say that.
When she messaged you back and she goes, "Well, I was hoping that you would actually care enough about me as a friend and wanted to listen," what was your reply?
The care. Oh.
No, it was that she has girlfriends for that.
Well, yeah, I've been down the road of being the guy. I remember when you said, if you're not her boyfriend, you're her girlfriend, right?
Yep.
Well, I'm not.
I mean, it's an exaggeration. I don't think that's a bad saying. So we're seeing some good stuff. We're seeing some good stuff in this video. Is it going to last? Stay tuned.
I'm not trying to be this girl's girlfriend, and I can be nice, right? But I'm not the person to vent your ex-boyfriend problems to, because that's just not the role I got to play as a man in this relationship, right?
You see, for me, that's always something I've never minded doing. You know, like, I mean, I've even when I was younger, I understood if a girl is venting to me about her guy problems, it means that she's got no interest in me. Because if she's interested in you, she doesn't vent to you about guy shit. I just kind of always instinctively understood that. But me, I was okay with it. It's just kind of like I don't see it as like, and maybe this is a problem on my end, but I don't see it as like an insult against my masculinity or anything. Probably because I'm like so kind of aromantic that I don't really like feel any envy or jealousy, and I just kind of enjoy talking to people about their problems. I mean, sometimes it can get boring, but I do. It depends on the person. But if it's like a cute girl, then dude, I'll listen to her spurg about her boyfriend all day. I mean, maybe not these days, but when I was younger, I'd do it, understand that there was nothing there, and I'd still, be happy to do it. But most guys aren't like me, and most guys don't like doing that. They find it, emasculating and unpleasant. So I get it, and absolutely break out of that shit.
Exactly. So collaboratively, we said to this woman, we go, "Hey, we ain't playing that game. We're not playing that game because you have girlfriends for that." We go tell your girlfriends. I ain't wasting my time hanging out with some chick who's going to talk to me about a different man who was probably... Okay, you get what I'm saying? If she's not going to invest in us the way that we want her to, you got to understand, there's no use in him spending his time for that. So what's the story time today? What is the use of me actually coming to you with this topic? Well, the use of it, first and foremost, is that she will strip you of your attention, of your time, and lead you on thinking that there's some sort of S3 actual interest, or at minimum some sort of relationship interest. The old Caden would have assumed that this woman is looking at him from the lens of a potential option, right?
I couldn't.
Yeah, I would have too. So yeah.
See that she was playing if this was a year ago, I had no idea she was playing games, and the second I call her out on her games is when she got angry at me.
She gets angry. And of course, we didn't break frame. We didn't.
Like you didn't break frame with Brittany? That worked.
We didn't break frame. We did not get emotional. We gave her a few laugh and cry emojis. We put LOL. And what did she do? She ended up blocking you.
She put me on the block list.
She blocked him. Now, there's one other thing that we did tell her. We called her out on poor behavior. So she goes, "Oh my God, I hate you. All men are the same." I can't even believe you wouldn't have enough care in your heart to actually come and take care of me like this, or come and listen to me vent about my boy problems. Keep in mind, this is a full-grown 19-year-old man.
I don't need to worry about boy problems, I promise.
Now, what we texted her back, we said specifically, how did we word this? We said something along the lines of, she swore at you. She told you to F off. And we said, we called her out. We said that's very immature. We're not rewarding that type of behavior.
Based on the level of immaturity, I take it back. I don't think this is going to be a fit. And that's when we cracked open the can of worms.
That's when all hell broke loose. And you will see she moved off center. She was moved off frame. She was in an emotional reactive state, and she's the one who did the blocking. Because of that, Caden won.
Okay, we got a lot to unpack here. You remember what I was talking about earlier? Good stuff wrapped in bullshit. Well, it started off really strong. It started off really strong. Good job on Casey, like seeing immediately what was up. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even me at 38, I'd have missed it. I'd have missed it. I mean, he was completely right, and I would have missed it. I would have been like, no, this chick sounds like she's into you. I didn't know him personally, but I would be like, no, she sounds like she's into you. I'm talking about like if you had asked me this yesterday before I saw the video, that's what I would have said to the kid. I would have said, she sounds like she's into you. Go see her. Maybe if I had known more details, I wouldn't have said that. It sounds like Casey may have known more details. So good job, good salesmanship on the you gotta wear something cute for me. Could I ever bring myself to say that? No. I'm not sure I would recommend you doing it because I think it's just so corny. But from an effectiveness standpoint, it's good. It's good, man. It's really good. I think right after that though, it gets to be very very problematic. You know, it shouldn't be about winning. The only way to win is to, get what you've gone for, which would be like some type of relationship or something romantic with this girl. It would be like saying like, so me, every time I've got a prospect, curse me off on the phone and hang up, I won that interaction because I quote unquote held my frame. No, I still didn't make any money. So I'm still going to have my manager yelling at me. So it doesn't make any difference. But let's talk about it. I mean, so he says that you got away with some cute for me. She immediately hits him with the wall of text. If I'm seeing a wall of text like that, that tells me there is some interest. And which means that you don't respond with, fucking laughing, crying emojis. And my guess, actually, this is a very tentative guess because I can't get inside Casey's mind, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was some kind of Casey red pill bullshit. It's like, hey, haha, we're going to show her that we don't take her seriously and she's going to want us even more. And he went too far because if you've seen the wall of text, she's interested. There's some level of interest. I'm not saying he might still be in the friend zone. I'm not saying it's for sure going to happen, but I'm saying a path was still open. Salesmanship again. We don't have a hard no. We're going to keep pursuing it. And keep pursuing it doesn't mean remember how I talked in the green eggs and ham video about getting to know? Well, yes, you have to get to know, but you don't say listen, you faggot, I hope you die. You'll get to know very fast doing that. But that's not what we mean. You have to get to know while making a intelligent effort to get to yes. Okay? Did that make sense? And so she's shown some interest with the wall of text. These say that's shown some, and this would be a great opportunity to say something like what she's saying, all men are the same and I don't care about you, and then be like, I absolutely, we're friends and I like you and respect you and of course I care. But, at the same time, this type of thing is, I'm not one of your girlfriends. So that part was good. It's more about how we say, they just say but it's just that I'm not one of your girlfriends and I don't want to be. I don't want to be. So, if you want to, so if you need to vent about, relationship, if you need to vent about boy problems, I'm just not the person you want to go to for that. Something like that, and you don't have to go with what I said word for word. You don't have to like what I said, but what they did was not acceptable because that's what you're not getting to know, you're forcing no by being you're being insulting. That's bad, just being kind of nasty. That's not what needed to happen. And then, So then, but so he says, he does, says it in like kind of a douchey way, like, look, it's got your girlfriends and stuff. I can't believe that you wouldn't care of. And then he sends the laughing cry. That should not have happened. That's bullshit. But then here's what I think that one is the worst, but what he really shouldn't have said, and maybe is even the worst, saying, look, based on the maturity factor here, I changed my mind. I don't think it's going to be a good fit. So this sort of like preemptive rejection. Again, I don't know if this is just Casey being a douche or if it's him like thinking that this is some kind of reverse psychology is going to work. No, that's bad. That's, you're not going to be a fit. That's not. There are times, I'm trying to relate it to sales. There are times where you'll like realize that somebody is just not going to be a good client. But in which case, but you don't say it like that. You wouldn't say it like, you would just say like, okay, well, it sounds like this isn't something you're interested in moving forward. I'm talking about in sales, how you would say, this isn't something you're interested in moving forward with right now. But thank you for your time and have a good day. But you don't like preemptively reject, because it's not your job to reject. It's not, this kid isn't in the place to reject her. Okay. He can stop pursuing it. He can, wish her well and like let it go, but he can't reject her like or take back his offer. It doesn't work like that. It comes off as cringe and just pathetic. So you talk about any frame he had, I think he lost it when he said that, even if he did succeed by pissing her off. And then for Casey talks about the nerve about this girl. Well, what about the nerve you have, Casey, to say that he won the exchange? What did he win? What did he win? All he did was end any chance he had with this girl. He may have had some before this call. We don't know, but it sounds like he did. So he went from some chance to none while acting like a douchebag, and humiliating himself. It's like, yeah, he won is in the sense that he didn't like chase losses and he started down the path and stuff, but he didn't actually gain anything. At most, he prevented some losses. And also, the idea that her blocking you means that you won, dude. No. I mean, look, maybe I end up eating my words. Maybe this girl comes back to him. I don't think so. But maybe she comes back to him and is like, like unblocks him and is like, yo, hey, I'm sorry, I thought about it, whatever. And so, although he'll probably blow it because he'll be doing Casey's masculine frame bullshit then. And drive her away like Casey did with Brittany. But I don't think so. I mean, generally blocking means, shit is, it's over. Usually if she blocks you, she is done. So, you didn't win anything. It's just cringe. Just get your head out of your ass, Casey.
One.
Regardless.
Look at the 19-year-old kid, as the way I puts it in quotes, because he instinctively gets like, I didn't really win, Casey.
The fact that he got blocked or not, you have to look at the gist of it. He was able to shift her emotionally. And the fact is this.
Yes, but that doesn't mean shit if you don't actually get what you were going for. Is the goal to get with women, or is it just to like win, quote unquote, win text interactions? You have to define the goal. Does this get us any closer to the goal? No, it got us further. So you didn't win anything. Jesus.
Making a woman feel some type of way is far better than making that woman feel nothing.
I'd much rather learn now that she was playing games and just trying to use me for free attention than 5 hangouts in the future when she goes, oh, by the way, we're just friends, right? Really?
Well, good, but that doesn't mean you have to be rude about it, and it doesn't mean that you have to do it in a way that kills any chances you may have had. Sorry if I'm being repetitive.
Now, not that I'm going to use this as a testimonial, but Caden's been hanging out with me. He works for me. He's setting up this office. He's done a lot. The production quality you guys see right now is all thanks to him. Obviously,
I think it looks good. Good job. I'm not crazy about the James Dean picture, but yeah, it's looks good. And also that headman thing, Casey, you got to stop trying to make headman happen. Okay, it's not going to happen, as Regina George would say.
I'm trying my best, guys. It's a lot of tech I'm working through.
No, you can't. No. He's 19. I would have done the same thing. You can't do this I'm trying shit. Okay, the work is great. You don't have anything to be ashamed of. You don't have anything to be aw shucks about. Just, stand by your work. Don't say this I'm trying shit, because here's the fact. At the end of the day, nobody gives a shit. You produced or you didn't. And I'm not saying, you know, be results oriented, because I would say the opposite. I would say be process oriented. But you don't, may judge yourself by the process, but the rest of the world is going to judge you by results. So don't be apologetic. Don't say I'm trying my best because nobody cares, and don't let anybody think that you're not secure about the work you put out. It's not even your decision to make. You do your job and let people react to it how they will. That's on them. You did your part. You know you tried your best. They don't have to know. You don't have anything to justify to anyone else.
Here's the fact. Tell me about the mindset shift and the personality shift you've had in just this 3 to 4 weeks, and how much confident, stronger, and stable. Word for word, Caden has told me this is the happiest I've been in my life.
So, funny. If you're chasing something like happiness, which I'm sure a lot of you are, because I still am, Casey, that's kind of like your goal in life, is to be happy, right? Well, the concept of happiness, it's not one thing. It's not something you can just get. It's something that
I guarantee you that being like Casey is not going to make you happy in the long run.
You just achieve as a byproduct of being on your purpose. So
another ad.
As of lately,
oh my God, purpose. Okay. Mm-hmm. I have gotten that ad before, but trust me, I'm not looking for an online bride.
Working with Casey, I think we have a good relationship together in the business sense.
Oh, okay, stopping it. The video has to stop here. Casey has already brainwashed this kid to talk about his purpose. That you thought Casey's purpose was bad. Casey's purpose is what is it again exactly? Casey's purpose is to scam men into joining some like permanent circle with a recurring fee where he coaches them on how to release their masculine energy. And he also does one for relationships, despite the fact that he lost a relationship, just got out of a relationship that he lost with a girlfriend who was totally head over heels in love with him. So he's probably one of the last guys you should be talking to about relationship advice. So that's his purpose, is essentially selling snake oil garbage. So that's bad. That's bad. I mean, but his protege has actually managed to outdo him. His purpose is to help Casey sell snake oil garbage. So, I mean, way to go, Casey. You managed to find somebody who has a purpose that's even worse than yours. And, you know, this reminds me, I don't know if any of you guys play chess, but in chess, they will say that a bad plan is better than no plan. And, I mean, I've always kind of disagreed with that. But I think it just goes to show chess is not purpose. Okay? If it is true in chess, it's not true when it comes to purpose. I would say no purpose is infinitely better than a bad purpose. And if your purpose, the best purpose you can come up with is helping a guy sell snake oil, then you either need a better purpose or you need just no purpose at all. That alone would be enough of an upgrade. This video does kind of go on. Casey does say one thing that's kind of funny though, just speaking of, and I think I can't remember if it's in this video or the next, I don't know, because I don't want to keep watching, but he said something like, if women are your biggest problem, then you need bigger problems. And I thought that was kind of funny. It's probably true. But so I guess leave on a high note there. But overall, Casey is a fucking idiot, and now he's, you know, apparently brainwashing this poor kid, and it's just like Casey. He doesn't realize he's doing it. So you know, it's not. I'm not saying it to hate him, but he's really kind of leaving this trail of destruction, and it's kind of sad to watch, even if it's entertaining at times. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next.